Okay, I have an update on the woman from my last video. Her name is Diane Figueroa. She is a United States citizen, and on October 10th of this year, ICE crashed into her car while she was on her way to work. They came out of their vehicle, firearms drawn, pointed at her. They then dragged her out of her car, arrested her, dragged her off without Mirandizing her. And many of us are hearing this story for the first time today because the New Republic has picked it up. This is what we need: more national level reporting, willing to pick up the stories of what is happening in Chicago and Portland, Oregon, in Colorado and LA, in DC, in communities all over this country. We need these stories amplified on a national level. And it is only because of regular citizens, bystanders, folks who are willing to document and share on their social media. That is the reason that these stories are being told. Take 10 minutes and go to Instagram and look at Instagram Reels, and you will just see video after video after video of regular, ordinary Americans who are willing to document and share. And in this instance, not only advocate for Diane, urging her not to resist arrest, letting her know that they had her back, that they were filming, and they had evidence to disprove ICE or Customs and Border Patrol's false claim that she had hit them. Like, they had clearly flipped a U-turn and they hit her. And then because of their gross incompetence, they tried to claim that she had hit them, and they had their weapons drawn on an unarmed woman on her way to work. By the way, Diane is a paralegal. Y'all done fucked with somebody who works in a law office. Well done, ICE. Thankfully, the New Republic and also the Chicago Tribune are covering the update to the story today. It turns out that hours after this incident, which the New Republic describes as an unmarked car colliding with her car, and then federal agents exiting that unmarked vehicle, training their weapons on her, forcibly opening her car door and pulling her out of the car by her legs and dragging her through the street. While they did not identify themselves as law enforcement, and they did not say that she was under arrest, and as I said in my original video, they did not Mirandize her. These are all gross violations of her constitutional rights. Bystanders could be heard in the original video shouting, "You hit her, we have it on video." Figueroa was then forced into a minivan and driven away, where she said she was transported to multiple undisclosed locations and denied the opportunity to contact family or legal counsel. Again, more violations of her constitutional rights. This is also a technique that Customs and Border Patrol and ICE uses. They move you around from facility to facility, and whether you are a U.S. citizen or an immigrant, that makes it very, very difficult for your family and your legal counsel to find you. They're kind of trying to lose you in the system. Not only was Figueroa's family not alerted that she was arrested in this incident, they only discovered she'd been taken by law enforcement when they saw a video of the crash on social media. After being brutalized by federal agents and deprived of her constitutional rights, Figueroa was later released without any charges whatsoever. According to reporting in the Chicago Tribune and the New Republic, Figueroa says, "The video evidence is clear. Agents crashed into me. I was not involved in any protest or related activity, and I intend to seek justice for how I was treated." Tricia McLaughlin, who is a propagandist for the Department of Homeland Security, had this to say of the incident: "In fear of public safety and of law enforcement, officers attempted to remove her from the vehicle. She violently resisted, kicking two agents and causing injuries. The agitator was arrested for assault on a federal agent." This is what I said in my initial video. I know it's so hard when you're being terrorized, when you're being brutalized, when your rights are being violated, when you like obviously fearing for your safety and your freedom. It's so hard to not struggle. It doesn't matter if you have done nothing wrong. ICE is trying to manufacture upcharging you with resisting arrest or assaulting federal agents. We are seeing it over and over again here in Portland. They're seeing it over and over again in Chicago. You haven't broken the law, but then they go ahead and try and arrest you anyway while denying you your Miranda rights. They won't identify themselves. You don't even know if these are legitimate law enforcement, right? These masked goons will not identify themselves. They come at you with their weapons drawn. You don't know who these guys are. This is the whole reason law enforcement has to identify themselves, and they have to Mirandize you. They have to tell you that you are under arrest. All of these procedures are in place to protect your rights, because who knows, these could be random guys off the streets kidnapping people. I mean, that's really what ICE is. It's just Proud Boys and Oath Keepers that have been legitimized by Donald Trump. I don't know about you, but if masked men who won't identify themselves are trying to drag me out of my car, odds are I'm going to try and protect myself. I'm going to try and not be dragged off in an unmarked vehicle where God knows what will happen to me. It's totally understandable that she was kicking. She was flailing. They didn't tell her what was happening. They didn't identify themselves. She didn't do anything wrong. Could you imagine on your way to work, some guys in an SUV slam into your vehicle, point their weapons in your face, drag you out. They won't tell you what's happening. They drag you across the street and stuff you into that SUV and drive away. That is what American citizens are living in Donald Trump's America. But I'm telling you, if there is any way you can keep very still, you don't have to help law enforcement. You can go limp like a noodle. But if you pull, if you resist, they are going to find any movement that you make as an excuse to charge you with resisting arrest. And as you are trying to defend yourself, protect yourself, if you bump an officer with your foot or your hand, they'll call it assault. We've seen it multiple times in Portland. And there are reports of ICE doing things like intentionally squeezing your wrist really hard or running their knee into the back of your leg while they're resisting to elicit a pain response so that you jerk, because it hurts to be squeezed really hard, right? They're doing that on purpose, because the minute you jerk, they're like, oh, they resisted arrest. Resisting arrest is almost always a trumped up charge. It is a manufactured charge. They don't have anything legitimate to hold you on, or maybe it's just a misdemeanor and now they want to make it into a felony. So I know that it's impossible in the moment. I also know that Tricia McLaughlin, her name is in the file for the days to come when we get justice for everything that is happening now. All these folks at the Department of Homeland Security, they know what they're doing. All of this propaganda, this is a woman who had her rights violated over and over. She was terrorized by ICE, and the little press release, the little propaganda piece from DHS is trying to frame it as her fault, even though they had to let her go because she didn't do anything wrong. I do want to say good on the New Republic here, because after they printed McLaughlin's statement, they had this to say. For what it's worth, McLaughlin's statements justifying horrific ICE arrests have ranged from missing essential details to contradicting witness testimony and straight up lying about every single detail of the arrest. These are government officials that are lying about American citizens. Straight up, easily disproven lies. Part of the reason that their lies are so easily fact-checked is because we are documenting what's happening. We've got to keep filming. Our phones right now are incredibly important. And please remember, if ICE breaks your phone or they confiscate your phone, have a pencil and paper with you, pen and paper with you. If you make notes about what's happening and you date them, contemporaneous notes are just as admissible in court as video evidence. Often, there are many instances where your written testimony that you made right after the incident or right during the incident, that has had more weight than photos or video. So if something happens to your phone, you keep documenting. Keep your presence there, your eyes on what is happening and your willingness to record it, incredibly invaluable right now. So I'm really grateful for that update. I'm glad she wasn't charged, but it's really important, y'all, that we don't let this become normalized. There is story after story after story of incidents like these in Chicago, in Portland, all over the country. We must continue to document, we must continue to share, and we must not let this be normalized in the United States. We cannot live in a country like this. We will not accept this as the new normal.